Brian's up. Hey guys, I believe you mentioned that with client SEO, you have to ensure you have the ability to turn off your clients' rankings when they stop paying you or when the contract period ends. Can you elaborate on how to do that and on how you would do this and why? Well, Brian, it's not that you can turn off their rankings, but we talk a lot about creating your own properties like redirects. Essentially, for example, if you have a client that's got a WordPress site, what I like to do is I like to go out and buy my own domain, clone the client site, put it on my domain, on my hosting account somewhere, then set up, so it's literally an exact copy of their site. Whether I built the site or it was already pre-built, whatever. I like to clone the site and then install it on my own domain, and then set up page-by-page redirects. You can do it with a plugin like Simple 301 Redirects. You can do it with HT Access. You can do it in cPanel. Doesn't matter. But set up literally individual 301 redirects from page to page, post to post. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And then I like to build links to my domain, which ultimately resolve to the client domain. But you can't do that with citations, guys. Obviously, citations are going to have to be built directly to the client domain, as well as any content marketing that you're doing for the IFTTT SEO strategy, right? The attribution links are automatically going to point back to the money site, which would be the client's domain. That's fine. I get that. But all I'm saying is if I'm going to be doing additional external link building, right? So additional inbound link building from other sources other than the content marketing or citations, then I like to build links to my domain it's redirected to the client's domain. And that's so that in the event that the client decides that they don't need, again, guys, this is what I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar about building your own assets. I was telling Edward, I believe, both Edward and Vanita, to build your own assets, right? Because that's why. Because if you're always building links to your client site and they decide that they don't need you anymore because you got them ranked now, and they want to go pay some guy that called from some spamming email from India, $50 a month or whatever, then they could just say, oh, you know what, we don't need you anymore. And you lost all that work. You made money while you did it, sure, but now that revenue stream is gone. It's done. Whereas if you had your own domain that you were building external links to, then when the client decides they want to stop paying you, you just remove all those redirects from your domain. Now, obviously, you have to go in and change. You can't just have an exact copy of their site, but you have to go. You'd have to go in and change out logos and contact details, and then probably edit the text somewhat, or just what I like to do is just add curated sections to the original text so that it becomes original, right? And change out some of the details on the site. But now I've got a website that's already pre-built, just needs some modification. And I've already got a bunch of backlinks built to it. And when I remove those 301 redirects, it removes that link juice to the client site. That doesn't mean the client site's going to drop out of the rankings and yours is going to replace it. It doesn't mean that at all. Chances are that's not going to happen. But you start off now with an asset that you already own that already has a lot of work done to it and a lot of inbound links, that now with just some additional work on your part, you can end up ranking that site for the same keyword terms in that same area. So you end up becoming a competitor of that client that let you go, if that makes sense. And now you have a lead gen property that you can sell, rent, or just sell leads, right? And that's what I like to do. It takes some work. I mean, certainly I would change, again, once you remove the redirects, guys, you're going to have to modify the site. You can't just have an exact duplicate of the client site out there on the web. Okay, that could get you in legal trouble. But you could go in and change the theme, change out logos, contact details, and add some additional content, or just have the content rewritten or reworked a bit to where it's not the exact same site as your client site. And now you've got a site already that you've been doing work to for however many months or years you've been working on the client site. Does that make sense?